One of my recent videos on minimalism was called "You Can Always Buy It Again." And in it I talked about the idea of holding on to things just in case, and why we shouldn't do it, because 99 times out of 100, that just in case will never come. In that video, I gave an example of the one time out of 100 where I did end up buying a product again, because even though I thought I wouldn't need it, and I was holding on to it just in case, I ended up wanting to have it again. Well, today I want to talk about why getting rid of most of your things, even if you're going to end up rebuying some things new, is still the sustainable approach long term. For me, sustainability is not the primary reason that I choose a relatively minimalist lifestyle. There you go, I already alienated all the tree huggers, so you might as well dislike and unsubscribe. Seriously though, while sustainability does play an important role in some of the decisions I make, it's largely a byproduct or externality of the minimalist lifestyle that I choose. I live in a one-bedroom apartment in a very walkable city. I drink mostly filtered water and rarely buy bottled drinks. And I do own a car, but in 12 years I've put fewer than 40,000 miles on it. So compared to people who drive everywhere every day, live in really large houses, and buy bottled drinks most of the time, I have a relatively small environmental footprint. But I still do plenty of things that you could argue are unsustainable. While most of my meals are vegetarian, I still will have meat several times per week. I like traveling, and that involves getting on planes. And sometimes I buy new clothes, and when they develop holes, I throw them out. The sustainability argument is often posed in terms of extremes. Don't eat any meat ever. Never drive a car or take an Uber. Never use any single-use plastics. The thing is, eating meat 3 times per week is way better than eating meat 3 times per day. Walking 95% of the time is way better than driving 95% of the time. And I'm not going to forgo my travel plans because the planes are already flying anyway. Sure, you could easily turn my environmental economics arguments around on me and say that any demand perpetuates demand and that we would have to go to zero to make any progress. But the reality is, I don't want to live in a world where I'm forced to make decisions based on somebody else's ideal. I'm happy to make my own choices given what's available, knowing that they're relatively environmentally sound, if imperfect. Then I can start to advocate for things that have less of a trade-off between the environment and lifestyle. Things like lab-grown meat, more nuclear or wind energy, and electric vehicles. And while I'd love for more people to consider their consumption, the reality is I can't really tell people what to do. I can only lead by example. And that's the way that we get more people to get on board, to show them that you can actually still have a really good lifestyle while being much better for the environment. If you rewatch that last video, you might also notice that before I went out and bought a new item, I actually looked on eBay to see if there were any used ones available. And while there were some, they were actually more expensive than what it would cost to buy a new one. And I think that's okay, because for the one item that I ended up rebuying as new, there were 99 other items that so far I have not needed again. And in addition, those other items, I was able to sell them or give them away, so I potentially prevented somebody else from buying a new item in that instance. And having gotten rid of all that stuff, now I have a lot more freedom. If I wanted to move someplace, I could easily fit my life into a few carloads, or even pare it down further into a couple suitcases. And just seeing how much more liberating the lifestyle is of not having that much stuff, now I'm less likely to make more consumption choices in the future. I'm not going to make no consumption choices, but my overall consumption is probably going to be a lot less. I'd love it if recycling could work better. I'd love it if you could more easily replace parts on broken electronics. And I love it if cradle-to-cradle manufacturing was the norm rather than the exception. But we live in an imperfect world, and we shouldn't let relative sustainability be the enemy of absolute sustainability. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day.